Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Wudi as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. This is from an act named Aooo. We have the art here on the screen. This track is titled Blue Smoke, if I'm not mistaken. And just before we get into it, I've got a new mic set up, so sorry if my voice kind of sounds a bit weird or something like that. I'm hoping it'll sound okay, but we're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do this. I mean, it's very slick going into those guitars, bass, drums, etc. Great chromatic shift there. I know this one. Is this an anime theme, like an intro or an outro or something like that? It does sound kind of familiar. I mean, the guitar is just so quick. It's just such a scratchy guitar tone. There's such a harshness to it, but it sounds so fresh. Easily identifiable hook lines. Great to follow along to. Nah, man. I don't think I've listened to Aooo before, but I reckon they're a great band. I think they're a great band. Just a bit of feedback at the end there, which is kind of cool. And it goes straight into their next track, titled More, off of the self-titled album. So we're going to talk about this track, though, more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Aooo, titled Blue Smoke, I suppose. What is this track about? I'm not sure. I am not fluent enough in Japanese to understand it in real time. I'm assuming that it's something going up in blue smoke. Maybe, I'm not sure. It looks like, I'm not quite sure what that billboard is meant to be in the art there, but either way, yeah, I feel like if you have an understanding of the language, this is just going to be more of a sort of an compelling experience. But I still enjoyed listening to the singer. She had great pipes and very present in the mix, really palatable melodies within the verses and choruses, hook lines and like that, with easily identifiable, but then we also allowed plenty of room for the guitars, the bass, and the drums to do their thing as well. It was a frenetic track, but the singer held their own and was the main focal point throughout the experience, which I thought was, wow, they had a great sort of sense of warmth and glow to the texture within their pipes, and it was stellar across the 2 minutes, 3 minutes 14, should I say. It was one of those songs where, we start with the vocals and the drums, and you get an instant feel of the tightness, the chemistry within the actual instrumentalists within that performance themselves, because they sound great. The drums with their quarter, eighths, and 16th note grooves there, how tight they are, how quick they are, the fluidity, the dexterity, the technicality of some of those offbeat grooves and the fill transitions and stuff like that. We explore the drum kit, but predominantly, again, those sort of main three of the kick, snare, and cymbals, and we explore that really neatly. It's just paced throughout. We do have variation within the different sort of core chops, but we know when to kind of relatively park it so that we keep a great sort of like sense of pace there in a way that's sort of predictable for the listener, but we also add enough variety in there rhythmically to keep things interesting. The guitarist though just was wild, man. Like all the kind of finicky, sneaky, fast 16th note strummed sort of muted guitar chords with little kind of kind of really quick melodies interspersed within there. We adeptly handle the harmonies within these triads and extensions, but also it's just really kind of jazzy and sort of sparkly, and it shows an adept. It's in a way of combining, I think, lead and rhythm techniques within a song. You don't have a dedicated guitar solo section. You just have a guitar which knows how to go between those sort of like harmonic and melodic elements there sequentially in a way that allows for plenty of room for the vocalist there, but also on their own terms they can, again, it's about the variety and diversity of the riffage that's present. We have a nice glow to some of the overdriven elements within the chorus there. It's a really kind of scratchy tone to the distortion within this, which instills a sense of chaos within it, but I don't feel as if it's to a detriment. You never get the impression within this track that they're trying to be too messy with it. It's just where they're trying to find interesting sounds to work with, and I feel as if they're able to accomplish that here. The bass line underneath there being relatively loyal to the root notes there. We do have some moving around the scales, but quite often they're more sort of trying to keep a solid sort of like bottom end, and I enjoy that. I think that you can have a lot of flashiness with those guitar riffs whilst contrasting that technicality with the bass to sort of niche well with each other. The drums being like a more of a, again, they don't play notes, they play sounds, I suppose you can say that. I can argue that to an extent. So for us, it's just more the drums and the vocals, of course, being the center of stereo field. Whilst those guitars are double tracked, they have more presence by virtue, but ultimately it's just the way that you put these instruments together there with a relatively simple like arrangement. It's like not the playing part, but the actual stacking them together part. You just have a song which has different levels of intensities throughout, but never lets go of the throttle, and it just keeps pushing, propelling forward until the end. It's a song where the theme itself does kind of sound like it's got a sense of playfulness where it's not trying to take itself too seriously, but you still gather that there's a fair bit of intensity and maybe drama to the situation there, like something you're trying to overcome, but also something you're chasing. You could even be chasing that blue smoke, I'm not quite sure. It's just, there's a sense of mystery through not knowing the language, but I nonetheless appreciate getting the chance to listen to music, and especially songs like this where it makes you think. It's not immediately just giving everything to you straight away and going, here is the obvious thing, this is it, right? And so I like the chord choices. The variety of different grooves and patterns we have there is really sweet. And ultimately, it's just a song where we show a fundamental understanding of music theory and composition whilst making it sort of enjoyable to listen to. There's a great groove, and it seems like they're having a fun time playing it. It's tight as hell as well. These are hard instrumental parts, but they smashed them. But the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is wonderful. I really enjoyed listening through all of the commercial grade guitar recordings of the guitars, bass, drums, and vocals. Even though, again, some of the distorted elements are maybe getting close to a bit too fuzzy for my tastes, considering I'm into like metal and grindcore and stuff like that. That's saying something. It's a song where we found balance and equilibrium there. Things niched nicely within the frequency spectrum, and things surrounded you in the stereo field, which I enjoyed. And it was nice and loud without pumping, so the bass compression limiting his hand with a bit of dynamic range there as well, relative with the vocals and the drums being less intense and everything else later on. It's my review of this track from an ex named Aooo, titled Blue Smoke, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SP Patrons video. Spiderhands out.